Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has defended Lewis Hamilton after another frustrating day in 2022, condemning Fernando Alonso's hold-up in the Monaco GP, while also insisting the 7-time champion and George Russell are very much on the same pace. Hamilton finished only 8th in Sunday's frenetic wet-dry Monte Carlo affair, which is also where he qualified, as F1's most successful driver finished behind young teammate George Russell for the 6th race in a row. Hamilton was first frustrated by the Alpine of Esteban Ocon, who earned a penalty for contact with the Mercedes, and then of Alonso, who then slowly held Hamilton up around the narrow streets. He could have been right there and could have closed Lando, Norris, 6th, or even fought with George, 5th, and Lando at the front because that was his pace, Wolff said afterwards. Hamilton has bemoaned bad luck so far in 2022, with safety cars costing him many points, while his Monaco GP weekend was hampered by a red flag in qualifying and then the Alpines in the race. When you look at the bad spells Lewis had, stuck behind Fernando today, the contact with Esteban, the red flag in qualifying yesterday, added Wolff, I think the pendulum will swing and this unlucky situation will stop with Lewis, as they're very much on the same pace. Hamilton is currently 6th in the drivers' standings, 75 points behind leader Max Verstappen. Hamilton posted a message to fans on his Instagram stories as he stated, "I'm sorry I haven't given you any great results this year, but I won't give up. We win and we lose together." Hamilton restarted the race after the red flag behind Alonso and could not clear the Alpine, who was purposefully driving slow with overtaking difficult in the Principality. Alonso was over 4 seconds a lap slower than the cars ahead, finishing 34 seconds behind Lando Norris, despite the McLaren's extra pit stop. Wolff accused Alonso of Formula 2 driving and said Monaco may have to change. "I think what we need to look at is Monaco," said the Mercedes boss. "If a car can slow down by almost 5 seconds and hold everybody up, it's just a shame for the racing here. So maybe we can look at the track layout and the things we can do so we're not having a procession or having a strategy game or qualifying race." You can see there is another lesson that track position is everything in Monaco. I mean, 5 seconds is like a Formula 2 car. It is such a spectacle here. It is such a fantastic venue, and it's always amazing to be here, but I think we need to look in a way at the layout where we can basically close the loop for 5 seconds slower and you still can't do it. Hamilton said he was frustrated, but stated, "What is the good in letting it eat me away? It is what it is and there's nothing I can do about it. I will be back again at the factory and we will try again next race." Mercedes, after an encouraging Spanish GP, were well off the pace of front-runners Red Bull and Ferrari in Monaco, and their W13 was again suffering with bouncing, albeit thought to be due to the bumpy track rather than the porpoising of their floor. "I am praying that the car doesn't feel like it does here, because here it has felt the worst it has so far with the bumps," said Hamilton, looking ahead to the next race in Azerbaijan. "My teeth and my jaw going the whole time. I'm done with the shaking. Ours is so stiff that the suspension is driving it back into the ground. I'm looking forward to some more open track and I'm praying that it's not as bumpy as here." Wolff, meanwhile, admitted Monaco presented more lessons for the struggling world champions. "At the moment, I don't want anything for us gifted," he added. "Our team is only 3rd on the road, and that is why the positions of 5th and 6th are where we belong to. This is not where we want to be, and that is why, if you are inheriting a podium, it is nice, it is good for the points long term, but I don't want any of that. I want to be winning at the front, and this is going to be part of important lessons we learn here, and it's going to be the basis of us performing long term again." George Russell has been the most consistent driver on the grid this season, finishing in the top 5 in every single race. It's a pace that Lewis Hamilton is clearly struggling to match at the moment, and those comparisons will be something that Toto Wolff will be asked about, although he is quick to dismiss that there could be a scenario where Russell is given priority over Hamilton. If Mercedes do get back into this championship battle, as their form in Spain last weekend suggested they might, and they need to claw back every available point they can, they choose to impose team orders on their drivers to try and help whichever one is ahead in the Drivers' Championship. But Wolff insists that both drivers will be given the same opportunities. 100% we will allow them to race, Wolff insists. Until a driver is mathematically out of contention, we're not making such a call. And when asked if it were the other way around and it was 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton ahead, it makes no difference, Wolff said. I think that then the Constructors' Championship becomes the priority. Wolff, though, is confident the team have turned a corner now, after Russell finished 3rd in Barcelona and Hamilton roared through the field from 19th to 5th, with what Wolff described as the fastest car in the race. The Austrian declared his team were back in the title fight, having ruled them out a month ago. After a 5th and 8th place finish in Monaco, it could be suggested that Wolff's comments that they were back in the race was a little hasty. However, he insists that he does still believe they have a chance. Absolutely, I meant it. You know, ultimately, I'm a pessimist by nature. For me, the glass is half empty, not half full. But Barcelona was the first time that I saw a performance of a car and driver like in the past years. When you look at Imola, we got stuck in no man's land and we couldn't overtake. In Spain, Lewis was 30-odd seconds behind the last car in the field and he finished 4th. So that is a car that is capable of winning a race. It could be suggested that part of Lewis Hamilton's struggles this season could be in part to the hangover of last season's disappointment in Abu Dhabi on the final day. And Wolff is of the opinion that Hamilton will never get over what happened in Abu Dhabi last season, when he had a record 8th world title snatched from his grasp in a cruel fashion following a late safety car and a freestyle reading of the rulebook. That experience, Wolff admits, probably contributed to Hamilton's early season issues. You know, I had dinner yesterday with the coach of Juventus, Massimiliano Allegri. He says, and he started the conversation saying, "None of us can believe what happened to you in Abu Dhabi." And we were like, neither can we. It's still so surreal, and that's what's going to stay with Lewis forever, because in effect, he won an 8th world championship. Then he finds himself on the back foot, and most importantly, the car is a bitch to drive. And Lewis is like, 4 months ago, I competed for the world championship in a car that was great, and suddenly the car is undrivable. And that also needs recalibration of your own expectations, but I think he has that now. Speculation around Lewis Hamilton's future in the sport will always be there with his age and also current struggles, but the future of Toto Wolff has also recently been discussed. In an interview earlier this year, Wolff admitted that he had suffered with depression at times in his life, racking up over 500 hours in therapy since 2004. He even revealed that he is actively looking for someone to replace him as team principal. "I'm running at 100% motivation-wise," insists Wolff, who owns 1/3 of Mercedes F1 and is contracted to stay on as team principal and chief executive until at least the end of next year. "I'm actually really well balanced when I have problems to solve. What's not good for me is contentment. What's not good is boredom. What's not good is Groundhog Day. That's when I get really bad. In 2020, I wasn't good at all. I mean, COVID didn't help, but it was important at the time to reflect. Is this my niche? Is this what I want to continue to do to the end of my business life? In the end, I came to the conclusion I love this sport. I love the competition. I love the honesty of the stopwatch. That's why I couldn't believe what was happening in Abu Dhabi. But this is my team," he adds. "I'm a 3rd shareholder. I don't want to sell it. I want to run it in an executive function. Maybe I'll find a team principal that is better than me. I wish I would come across someone that would fit into the organization. It's not necessarily whether I think someone is capable intellectually or understanding the sport. It also needs to be fitting into the group, because if you're parachuting someone in that isn't respected in the group, he is going to struggle. So far, I haven't found anybody." The season continues with the Azerbaijan GP on June the 12th.